First contact and deception. The Shadowhawk drifted silently through the star-speckled void, its hull deliberately designed to appear weathered and primitive. Captain Sarah Chen watched through the bridge viewport as three crystalline ships of the Krylaxian Empire's Sixth Fleet approached, their gleaming surfaces catching and refracting the light of nearby stars. She allowed herself a small smile. Everything was going according to plan. Multiple hails from the Krylaxian flagship, Captain, reported Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez from his communications station. They're demanding we identify ourselves and explain our presence in their claimed territory. Maintain our passive sensor profile, Chen ordered, her dark eyes never leaving the approaching vessels. Let's play this exactly as Intel suggested. They need to believe we're just another primitive species that wandered too far from home. The Shadowhawk's exterior told a carefully crafted story. Apparent rust spots strategically placed along the hull, outdated chemical thruster ports that hadn't been used in decades, and antennae arrays that looked like they belonged in a museum. It was a masterpiece of deception, hiding the most advanced human warship ever constructed beneath a facade of technological inferiority. The largest Krylaxian vessel, easily 5 times the size of the Shadowhawk, positioned itself directly ahead. Its crystalline structure pulsed with internal energy, a display of power meant to intimidate. The alien ship's commander appeared on their main view screen, his insectoid features arranged in what humanity had learned was an expression of contempt. Unidentified vessel. The Krylaxian commander's translated voice filled the bridge. You have entered protected space of the glorious Krylaxian Empire. Your ship design suggests you represent a pre-FTL civilization. How did you reach this sector? Chen adopted an expression of careful neutrality, keeping her voice steady and slightly uncertain. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth exploration vessel Shadowhawk. We're conducting peaceful research missions along mapped trade routes. Our charts show this as neutral space. The Krylaxian commander's mandibles clicked in amusement. Your charts are as obsolete as your vessel, human. The Empire claimed this sector 3 cycles ago. Your presence here is a violation of Imperial law. Around the bridge, Chen's crew maintained their practiced positions, appearing appropriately nervous and out of their depth. In reality, each was an elite operator, handpicked for this mission. The Shadowhawk's true purpose wasn't exploration. It was to test the Krylaxian Empire's defenses and, if necessary, demonstrate why humanity shouldn't be underestimated. We apologize for any misunderstanding, Chen replied, allowing a hint of anxiety to color her voice. We'll adjust our charts and withdraw immediately. Not so quickly, human. The commander's tone grew sharp. Your vessel will be impounded and examined. The Empire must ensure no other primitive species attempt to violate our territory. Prepare to be boarded. Chen's first officer, Commander David Walsh, shifted slightly at his station. It was the only sign of his anticipation. They'd predicted this response with near-perfect accuracy. The Krylaxians' technological arrogance was legendary, matched only by their need to demonstrate superiority over lesser species. Please, Chen protested, maintaining the charade. We're a simple research vessel. We carry nothing of value. The Krylaxian commander's crystalline carapace sparkled with amusement. That is for us to determine. Resist, and we will demonstrate the true meaning of technological superiority. As the 3 Krylaxian ships moved to surround the Shadowhawk, Chen allowed herself another small smile. The aliens had taken the bait completely, seeing exactly what they expected. A primitive ship with primitive humans, helpless before their advanced technology. They couldn't have been more wrong. All hands, Chen vocalized through her neural link, a technology the Krylaxians couldn't detect. Prepare for Phase 2. Let's show them what humanity's been keeping in reserve. The trap was set. Now it was time to spring it, and teach the Krylaxian Empire a lesson about underestimating humanity that they wouldn't soon forget. The hidden edge. Scanning beam detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported as the Krylaxian vessels tightened their formation around the Shadowhawk. They're trying to analyze our internal systems. Captain Chen nodded, watching the crystalline ship's positioning with practiced eyes. Let them get a good look at our decoy signatures. Status of the quantum shell. Operating at full capacity, Commander Walsh replied. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. A primitive fusion reactor, basic life support, and lots of empty cargo space. The Krylaxian commander's image still dominated the main view screen, his mandibles twitching with undisguised contempt. Your vessel's systems are even more primitive than we initially assessed. Your fusion technology is barely more advanced than a colony ship's backup generator. Chen allowed worry to creep into her voice. Please, we're not worth your time. Let us return to Earth space, and we'll ensure no other human ships enter this sector. Silence, the commander snapped. You will submit to boarding and inspection. Our technicians are curious to examine such an antiquated vessel. Perhaps we'll even grant your species some basic technological assistance, assuming you prove sufficiently cooperative. As the alien ships moved into boarding position, Chen noticed their shield formations adjusting, creating a triangular containment grid. It was exactly the response they'd hoped for. The Krylaxians were so convinced of their superiority that they were following standard protocols for capturing primitive vessels. They're powering up their tractor beams, Walsh reported. Boarding shuttles preparing to launch. Chen straightened in her command chair. Time to show them what humanity's been hiding. Lieutenant Rodriguez, drop the masking field. Commander Walsh, bring our true systems online. Let's introduce the Krylaxian Empire to quantum phase technology. The change was instantaneous. The Shadowhawk's seemingly weathered hull rippled as layers of advanced metamaterials activated. The decoy energy signatures vanished, replaced by power readings that made the Krylaxian sensors scream in protest. Quantum reactors, previously hidden in subspace pockets, surged to life. On the view screen, the Krylaxian commander's contempt transformed into shock. Impossible. These readings. What trickery is this? No trickery, Commander, Chen replied, her voice now carrying the full authority of her position. Just humanity's latest advancements in quantum engineering. While you were busy looking down on primitive species, we were quietly revolutionizing our understanding of subspace mechanics. The Shadowhawk's true form emerged as the last masking fields fell away. Its hull now gleamed with an otherworldly sheen, covered in patterns that seemed to bend light itself. Where there had appeared to be crude chemical thrusters, quantum drive nodes pulsed with barely contained energy. The ship's real weapon systems, far more advanced than anything the Krylaxians had encountered, emerged from subspace pockets. Your scanning beams are being reflected by quantum mirrors, Chen explained, allowing herself to savor the moment. Every reading you got was carefully crafted to reinforce your own prejudices. We knew your arrogance would blind you to any possibility that we might be more advanced than we appeared. The Krylaxian commander's crystalline carapace had lost its luster, his mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. This is impossible. No species could advance this quickly. We monitored your civilization. You were barely reaching your moon when we first detected you. Humanity has always excelled at keeping secrets, Chen replied, especially when faced with empires that mistake age for superiority. Now, you have a choice. Withdraw your ships and report to your superiors that this sector is no longer exclusively Krylaxian territory, or discover firsthand what our quantum weaponry can do to crystalline hull structures. Instead of responding, the Krylaxian commander cut the transmission. The 3 alien ships began powering up their weapon systems, their formations shifting from capture to combat positions. They're charging their primary particle cannons, Walsh reported, his hands dancing over his tactical console. Looks like they've chosen the hard way. Chen nodded, her expression grim but determined. So be it. All hands, battle stations. Let's show the Krylaxian Empire exactly why humanity has survived every attempt to subjugate us throughout our history. Weapons free, quantum shields at maximum. Time to demonstrate what primitive humans can really do. The space around the Shadowhawk began to distort as its quantum systems reached full power. The real battle was about to begin, and the Krylaxians were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity's potential. Battle in the Void. The void erupted in a dazzling display of energy as the Krylaxian ships opened fire. Streams of crystalline particles, their signature weapon technology, lanced toward the Shadowhawk from 3 directions. But Captain Chen had anticipated this attack pattern. It was straight from their tactical databases. Quantum phase shift, pattern alpha, she ordered calmly. The Shadowhawk's hull briefly shimmered, and the particle beams passed harmlessly through the space it had occupied, their energy dispersing into the void. The ship had partially shifted into quantum space, becoming momentarily intangible to conventional weapons. Direct hits avoided, Walsh reported, his tactical display showing the complex dance of energies around their ship. Their weapons can't touch us while we're phase shifted, but remember we can't fire back in this state either. The Krylaxian ships adjusted their formation, their crystalline hulls pulsing with increasingly powerful energy signatures. Their commander's voice crackled over the comm system. Your deception ends now, humans. The Empire has cataloged every known defense technology. Your parlor tricks cannot protect you forever. Chen's response was to action, not words. Execute attack pattern Theta 3. Show them what real technological advancement looks like. The Shadowhawk dropped its phase shift and erupted into motion. Its quantum drive engaged, allowing it to move in ways that defied conventional physics. The ship seemed to fold space around itself, appearing simultaneously in multiple locations as it executed its attack run. Quantum torpedoes armed, Rodriguez announced. Target solutions locked on all 3 vessels. The Krylaxian ship's crystalline armor, renowned throughout the galaxy for its resilience, was about to meet its match. Each quantum torpedo carried a payload that could briefly alter the fundamental forces holding matter together. Against crystalline structures, they were devastatingly effective. Fire, Chen commanded. The Shadowhawk launched its first salvo. The torpedoes didn't travel through space. They tunneled through it, emerging simultaneously at their targets. The smallest Krylaxian vessel took 2 direct hits. Its beautiful crystalline hull began to resonate at a quantum level, the ordered structure breaking down into chaos. Within seconds, entire sections of the ship began to disintegrate. 1 enemy vessel critically damaged, Walsh reported. They're abandoning ship. Escape pods launching. The remaining Krylaxian ships responded with increased fury. They launched salvos of crystal shard missiles, each programmed to track and adapt to enemy defenses. The space around the Shadowhawk became a glittering death field of crystalline projectiles. Multiple incoming missiles, Walsh warned. Too many to phage shift through. Chen's eyes narrowed. Deploy quantum mirrors. Let's show them another human innovation. The space around the Shadowhawk warped as dozens of quantum mirrors materialized. Not simple energy reflectors, but devices that could capture incoming attacks and redirect them through quantum space. The crystal shard missiles struck the mirrors and vanished, only to emerge again facing their ships of origin. The Krylaxian commander's voice betrayed his growing panic. Impossible. You're violating fundamental laws of physics. No, Chen replied, allowing herself a grim smile. We're just operating on a better understanding of them. Humanity learned long ago that what seems like magic to one civilization is simply science not yet understood by another. The battle continued to intensify. The Shadowhawk danced through space, its quantum drive allowing it to outmaneuver the larger Krylaxian vessels with ease. Each time they thought they had a lock on its position, it would shift partially out of normal space, their weapons passing harmlessly through its previous location. Their shields are adapting to our quantum torpedoes, Walsh reported. They're learning, but slowly. Calculating new attack vectors. Chen nodded. This was expected. The Krylaxians weren't a spacefaring empire because they were stupid. But humanity had planned for this too. Initiate Protocol Omega. Let's show them why you should never corner a species that evolved as persistence hunters. The Shadowhawk's quantum reactor core pulsed with new energy as it prepared to demonstrate yet another leap in human military technology. The real battle was far from over, but humanity's message was already clear. Underestimate us at your peril. Tables turned. Protocol Omega began with a subtle vibration that rippled through the Shadowhawk's quantum-enhanced hull. The ship's reactor core pulsed with an otherworldly light as it channeled power into systems that the Krylaxians hadn't even imagined possible. "Sir," Rodriguez called out, "the enemy flagship is calling for reinforcements, detecting multiple quantum wake signatures. They're bringing in their entire defensive fleet." Captain Chen's expression remained steady, exactly as predicted. "They're too proud to admit that a single primitive vessel could defeat them." "How many ships incoming?" 12 vessels detected, Walsh reported. "Heavy cruiser class and above. Emergence from FTL in 30 seconds." The space around them warped as the Krylaxian reinforcements arrived, their crystalline ships emerging from faster-than-light travel in a perfect combat formation. The new arrivals dwarfed even the original vessels, their hull designs showcasing the peak of Krylaxian military technology. The fleet admiral's transmission came through immediately, his voice dripping with disdain despite the situation. "You have demonstrated impressive deception, humans, but your resistance ends now. Surrender your vessel and technology, and we may spare your lives." Chen stood from her command chair, her posture relaxed despite facing 15 more ships. "You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? We let you call for reinforcements. We wanted your fleet here." "Your arrogance exceeds even your cunning," the admiral replied. "You faced the combined might of the 6th Fleet's primary battle group. Your vessel, however advanced, cannot hope to survive." "Commander Walsh," Chen ordered, ignoring the admiral's threats, "initiate quantum field expansion. Let's show them what Protocol Omega really means." The space around the Shadowhawk began to twist in impossible ways. The quantum field that had been building within its reactor core expanded outward, creating a sphere of altered physics that grew to encompass the entire Krylaxian fleet. "What is this?" the admiral demanded, his composure cracking as his ship's systems began to fluctuate. "What have you done?" "We've changed the rules," Chen explained, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's determination. "Within this quantum field, we control the fundamental forces of reality. Your weapons, your shields, your very hulls. They all operate on principles we can now manipulate at will." The demonstration began immediately. Throughout the quantum field, crystalline hulls began to lose their structural integrity. Shield systems flickered and failed as their underlying physics were locally rewritten. Weapon systems powered down as their energy patterns were disrupted at the quantum level. "Impossible," the admiral raged. "No species could achieve this level of control over fundamental forces. Humanity has always excelled at achieving the impossible," Chen replied. "We evolved on a death world, survived countless near-extinction events, and clawed our way to the stars through sheer determination. Did you really think we'd stop innovating just because we reached space?" The Shadowhawk moved through the quantum field like a shark through water, its systems perfectly attuned to the altered physics it had created. One by one, the mighty ships of the Krylaxian fleet found themselves powerless, their advanced technology rendered useless by human ingenuity. "Final warning," Chen announced to the increasingly desperate fleet, "power down your remaining systems and prepare to be boarded. This sector is now under joint protection. The era of Krylaxian expansion through intimidation is over." Some ships complied immediately, their crews realizing the futility of resistance. Others tried to fight on, their weapons harmlessly dissipating against the quantum field's effects. The admiral's flagship made one last desperate attempt to escape, its engines straining against the altered physics surrounding it. "Target the flagship's propulsion systems," Chen ordered. "Minimal force. We want them intact." A precisely calculated quantum torpedo impacted the flagship's engine section, causing its crystalline matrix to temporarily destabilize. The massive vessel hung dead in space, its once proud admiral forced to face the reality of his situation. The battle was over. Humanity had not just won. They had revolutionized warfare itself. As the Shadowhawk's crew began securing the disabled fleet, Chen allowed herself a moment of reflection. This victory would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity's capabilities, and more importantly, teach a valuable lesson about underestimating supposedly primitive species. Victory and recognition. 3 days after the battle, Captain Sarah Chen stood on the Shadowhawk's observation deck, watching as engineering teams from both species worked together to repair the damaged Krylaxian vessels. The crystalline ships no longer gleamed with their former arrogance. Instead, they served as a monument to the dangers of underestimating humanity. Latest diplomatic update from Earth Command. Commander Walsh reported as he joined her at the viewport. The Krylaxian Empire has agreed to all our terms. This entire sector will be designated as neutral space, with joint human Krylaxian patrols maintaining peace. Chen nodded, watching a team of human quantum engineers teaching their Krylaxian counterparts how to modify their shields against similar attacks in the future. And the technology exchange. Limited but proceeding as planned. We're sharing enough to prove our good faith, while keeping our most advanced developments in reserve. The Krylaxians are surprisingly eager to learn, now that their superiority complex has been adjusted. A small smile crossed Chen's face. The battle had achieved far more than just a military victory. It had forced an entire empire to reevaluate its fundamental assumptions about technological progress and species development. The observation deck's door slid open, admitting Admiral Crystal, former commander of the Krylaxian fleet. His crystalline carapace had lost its militant polish, replaced by what Chen had learned to recognize as an expression of thoughtful humility. Captain Chen, he greeted her, his translator rendering his clicks and chirps into smooth English. My engineers report that your quantum field technology did no permanent damage to our ships. A remarkable achievement. Devastating yet precise. That was by design, Admiral, Chen replied. Humanity has no interest in destruction for its own sake. We merely wanted to demonstrate why peaceful cooperation is preferable to military confrontation. The Admiral's mandibles moved in what she now knew was a gesture of agreement, a lesson we have learned well. Our historians are still struggling to understand how your species advanced so quickly. By our measurements, you should have needed at least another century to achieve this level of quantum manipulation. Perhaps your measurements were based on faulty assumptions, Walsh suggested diplomatically. Humanity's greatest strength has never been our technology, but our ability to think differently, to challenge established limitations. Yes, Crystal agreed, his compound eyes reflecting the starlight. We assumed that technological progress followed a fixed path, that younger species must retrace the same steps we took. We never considered that a different perspective might find new paths entirely. A commotion near one of the damaged Krylaxian ships caught their attention. A human engineer had just successfully integrated a quantum stabilizer into the vessel's crystalline matrix, something the Krylaxians had believed impossible. The cheers from both species' work crews echoed through space. That's humanity's true gift to the galaxy, Chen said, gesturing toward the celebration. Not our technology, but our ability to imagine new possibilities. Every time someone tells us something is impossible, we take it as a challenge to prove them wrong. Admiral Crystal's carapace shifted in what Chen had learned was their equivalent of a respectful bow. The Empire has officially revised its classification of humanity. You are no longer listed as a developing species, but as potential allies. Approach with respect. Chen laughed softly. That's a start, though I'd suggest adding a note. Never assume their apparent limitations are real. As the three of them watched the continuing repair efforts, Chen reflected on how this single battle had changed the galaxy's balance of power. The story of how one seemingly primitive human ship had humbled an entire alien fleet would spread quickly, carrying with it an important message. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or technology, but in their unwavering determination to exceed every limitation placed upon them. The Krylaxian Empire had learned this lesson the hard way. Other species would take note, and perhaps think twice before dismissing humanity as primitive or inferior. And if they didn't, well, the Shadowhawk and her sister ships would be ready to offer another demonstration. In the end, the battle had proved what humanity had known all along. True advancement came not from age or established power, but from the courage to question, the creativity to innovate, and the determination to succeed against all odds. As Chen watched the joint repair crews working together, she knew this was just the beginning of humanity's journey among the stars. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly how humanity liked it.